Welcome everyone to your Prosper ISD 2016 Spring Webinar Series. This is your Learning A to Z Resource Academy, Session 8, which is recommended for grades 2 through 3. And today we are going to be taking a look at RAS Kids and looking at using the data from the reports that are generated in RAS Kids to assist you in differentiating and planning instruction for your students. I have logged into the Kids A to Z Student Management area, and this is where we will be taking a look at how you can access the reports for the data that has been generated by the students that are on your roster. And we can take a look at that data so that you will be able to determine which skills your students might still need help on. Also, of course, it's going to allow you to see the progress that the students are making in their RAS Kids work. All right, you will note that the dashboard has been updated. It has a little bit different look to it. You will see that you have these two graphs, one of them indicating your class reading levels, and that gives you just a quick look at the different grade levels that are represented by the students that are on your roster. All right, also you have the opportunity to choose the number of days that you want to look at. It defaults to the last 30 days, which goes along and coincides with the reports that you can have emailed to you, and you see the email report link here, and that gives you an opportunity to sign up for the weekly email report and the monthly email report, so you will be able to see which of your students are actively using RAS Kids and which ones are not. All right, then we see the other graph that is right here on the dashboard screen is your comprehension skills. All right, and this is an opportunity for you to quickly see any of the skills, the comprehension skills that overall as a class they may have had some difficulty. All right, and as we see here by the example of what I have on my sample roster is that analyzed character was an area that they were weak in. All right, so that might be something that would clue me in right away that this is something I want to do a lesson on. And so at that point, I could immediately move into my Reading A to Z site, and then I would go into my resources. I would immediately take a look at the key reading skills drawer that slides out of your resources area, and I would take a look at the comprehension skill packs. And when I open up that comprehension skill pack area, I would take a look at either my second or third grade, since that is the level that this particular session is geared toward. So if I click on the second grade, we see that immediately right here we have a lesson that has already been prepared for you with the teacher lesson plan, and also the model and the practice passage for you to utilize either in printed or projectable format on analyzing character. So this is something that you can immediately have at your fingertips as a resource to work on that particular skill that showed some weakness. For third grade, we see that we have that same type of lesson, analyze character. Of course, it's going to look a little bit different, a little bit higher level since it is for third grade. And you will have that beautiful lesson plan that you have not had to write on your own, and be able to immediately go in and work on this skill of analyzing character. It takes you through all the steps that you need. And of course, any lesson plan that you didn't have to write yourself saves you time and allows you to use what is within the lesson plan or tweak it in any way that you feel would work for you. All right, let's move on right back to our area here for Kids A to Z Student Management. And what we are also going to look at, and we're going to move directly into this area that is talking about comprehension skills, and we'll do that by going to our skill report. All right. At the bottom, you will note that on this new dashboard that you also are able to see what activity has been occurring in the last 30 days with your students that are on your roster, the number of the books that they've listened to, that they've read, and the number of quizzes taken. Now, your numbers are probably going to be a lot different than mine because the majority of students that are on my sample roster are not actively involved in it. They're there just for demo purposes. All right, but we could also access the activity report by this link here. And then you see the average RAS Kids scores for that particular span of time that we were looking at, that 30-day span of time. Okay, so this is what your new dashboard looks like. All right, well, we're going to move right here to our skill report. And when we do that, it's going to open up. And of course, this is for the entire classroom. And you see that it's the RAS Kids is the tab that is lit up for us. We could look at the activity report, the assessments, but what it has diverted us to here is the skill report. And as we move down the screen, we see that you do have some filters that you are able to choose. And so what we want to look at, of course, is only the comprehension skills at this point. And as we move down, we see that this is a little bit, gives us a little bit more than just the ones that we saw on the dashboard. All right, and so each one of these, we could go in and actually access the skill itself so that we would be able to see how that 92% came about. All right, and the same thing on any of these others. Well, on Analyze Character, we'll notice that when we click on Analyze Character, it's going to open up and it's going to take us and show us which student or students were having difficulty with that particular skill of analyzing character. All right, so in this case, we just have one student. All right, but in your class, you may have a list of several students. And at that point, you would know, okay, I need to do a small group instruction for that group of students using my comprehension skill packs that we just looked at back here in Reading A to Z. Or it may be that you want to do a custom assignment for that group of students and choose some books, some leveled books that would give them some additional practice on analyzing character. And the way that you would do that, you would once again go to your Reading A to Z, and I'm just going to take us back here. I'm going to take us to our home page in Reading A to Z, and I'm going to fill in Analyze. All right, and you see that as I begin to populate the search engine, it brings up Analyze Character for me. So I'm going to click on that, search. I want to be looking at leveled books because that's what I'm going to be accessing over in RAS Kids when I do a custom assignment. And I would come down, and for my second grade students, we see that we have 20 different titles at all these Q through T levels. And then your third grade students, you have a total of 12. So you would be able to access any of those by clicking on that particular grade level span. And then depending on what level your students are working at, you would be able to choose what it is that you're looking for. So if you had some third grade students who are working in the upper level of third grade, you can see that you could narrow that Analyze Character titles now down to 5. All right, and so as you see that 4 of those happen to be leveled books. So we can look here and see the titles. All right, and this particular level that we're looking in is level W. All right, and you would just jot down those titles, or you would just leave this page up so that you could come back and look at it as you are making that custom assignment. So that these are 4 good choices for you to choose for a custom assignment for students at level W. All right, and so we would move back to this area. We would come in and choose assignments. And at this point, we would choose to create a custom assignment for that particular skill that the students were having trouble with. You would name it, analyze character, and you could date it whatever date you want to, or not put a date at all, or you could even list it with the students' first names after that. However you want to title it, it's up to you. All right, well then once you have given it a title, then you come down into your student roster and you begin to choose those students who you want to create this custom assignment for. All right, and you can see that some of my students already have custom assignments. All right, but I could come in and override any of those that I want to. Well, you can see that Cindy, the one that was having difficulty with analyzing character, this is where I had created that assignment for her. But just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to actually override it and create a new custom assignment for her. All right, and we would want to choose our level W, which is what we were looking at, and then we would begin to choose those particular titles that we saw when we did our search. Over here, we had Acropolis Adventure, American Sports Legends, Ocean Quiz, and The Other Side of Glass. All right, well, we could just quickly move back over. We can choose that Acropolis Adventure, and at this point, we can decide, do I want them to listen to it or only read it? And they will always have a quiz, even though you don't have to check that. All right, then we have Acropolis Adventure. We also had, let's go back and look. We had American Sports Legends and Ocean Quiz. All right, so look, here's our American Sports Legends, and maybe this one we are going to allow them to look at it. And then we come down and we see that we have the Ocean Quiz right here. We'll let them read that one. And then let's take a look at what our last one was. It was The Other Side of the Glass. All right, so we move right back over and choose The Other Side of the Glass. All right, which, let's see if it's offered here. Right here it is. And so you can make that decision on what you want to allow them to have access to. And then when you had finished choosing those particular titles, you would click Save Assignment, and whichever student or students that you had checked previously, then they are the ones who are going to receive this custom assignment. And I'm actually not going to save this one because I don't want to change the one that I had previously assigned for Cindy. All right, but that's how you do it. And if you wanted to, since it's a skill that they're struggling with, you could even choose books at a level below that would make the reading level a little bit easier, and they could concentrate a little harder on the skill that they're having difficulty with. All right, so that would be such an easy way for you to give those students who are struggling with a particular skill some additional practice. And then as soon as they finish that custom assignment, it will automatically revert back to the self-paced assignment that they were working in. And I'll show you what that looks like on your screen. All right, little Melody Acer here. She has a custom assignment right now on the topic of weather, but as soon as she finishes those particular titles that I assigned her, then it will automatically come a bright color again because she will be working back in that self-paced assignment at the level that she was working at. All right. So that is one way that you would be able to use your data to support you in finding ways to assist your students in that manner. All right, now let's also take a look at some of the other types of things when you are looking at your reports. We'll open up that report area, and we want to be sure and click on RAS Kids. All right, and as soon as that populates, all right, then we see that we have those three different reports that we can take a look at for the classroom, which we saw back on our dashboard. You have your activity, your assessments, and then that skill report. All right, well, when you open up the skill report, all right, once again, we're looking at that particular area that is going to show you the comprehension skills. We'll see here in the last 7 days, we see everybody is well and good in the class on all of those skills. But then when we open up 30 or 90 days, we're going to begin to see some of those skills that some of the students might be having trouble with over that period of time. All right, so you do have the opportunity to look at it, and you also can create a custom date range as well. All right, now let's go ahead, and what we're going to take a look at now is how you would look at an individual student's reports. So when we are looking for an individual student, we would want to go to our classroom roster, and then we would move down and we would take a look, depending on, which student you may have seen was having difficulty with something. All right, you would just move down, and let me click on RAS Kids here. And let's say that this little Tiana Bogart was having difficulty on something. Well, you could open up to that individual student's area. That's going to allow you to see whatever it is that they have been working on. And so you would go into RAS Kids, and then you would take a look at the skill report on that individual student, so that you would be able to see what skills they were having difficulty with. And actually, I'm going to go back here and take you to this particular student so that we can look at the skill report on this student, and you will see that we're going to open this up for the last 90 days. All right, and this is the one that was causing the 83% for the class. Well, this particular student, because we're in that student's area now, so we're only looking at their data per se, then we can go into that area of analyze character and actually see the title that gave her difficulty. And you would be able to see that that book entitled Wonderful Winter was the one where she was unable to do a good job on it. She came in and took the test again and was able to get 100%. But this was what gave that individual student that difficulty. But you would be able to see any and all of the titles that had, where the analysis had come from to give you that information of what they were having difficulty on. All right, so let's look at some other things that are in your Reading A to Z resources that are also going to support you in finding the resources that you need when you're looking at the report data when your students may be having difficulty. So when we move back over into our Reading A to Z area, and I'm going to take us right there to that home page, you'll note that right away over here in the teacher's corner, you have under your helpful tools a beautiful piece called Books by Skills Chart. All right, so we're going to click on that particular link. It's going to open up this Excel spreadsheet that you now will have the opportunity to import, and you could put it onto a jump drive, you could put it on your desktop, wherever you want to save this particular spreadsheet so that you will have it at your fingertips at all times. And then because you have imported it, you can actually add additional columns to make notes, anything that you want that column to represent. Well, each one of these headers allows you to sort this chart by that particular area. So if we were, we're talking about comprehension skills today. So let's go ahead and sort the comprehension column so that it is now in alphabetical order. So we've, the example that we've been looking at today for the student over in RAS Kids, that individual student was having difficulty on analyze character. So when we put these in alphabetical order, we see we have analyze character, and as we move down, you'll notice that the second grade level starts right here, and it starts with this particular title, Grounded to Earth. All right, and you have quite a variety of the analyze character books that are going to support second grade. All right, but you'll note that not only are these titles supporting teaching and giving you resources for working on analyzing character, But this particular chart will also allow you to see what other skills you can combine in using a given title in addition to working on that given skill, analyze character. So it lays it out nicely for you to see the other skills that you could cover with this one title, a new way of speaking. All right, and in order to get to that title, all you have to do is click on this link, and it will take you directly to the landing page for this given book, and then you will be able to access all of the resources that are available with this book, which you can see your printable copies as well as your projectable ability here, and that you have a guided reading lesson plan as well as a Common Core supplement. And then if you have access to Vocabulary A to Z, there is a pre-made lesson, but then we come down and we see that you have all of these different worksheets, one particularly on analyzing character. You have it in printable format to be able to hand out to your students, and then you have it in this beautiful projectable format that you could work on as a class by using your text tool. All right, and you could choose whatever color you want, create a box to be able to place in what the character trait is into this area, and you would just type that in, and then as you are creating examples, you would be able to create a box to fit this area, and then as a class you could begin to tell what the different ones were what the different examples of that character trait were. All right. Once you have done this, you have that opportunity, of course, once you have actually used your text tool, that if you're using this first block here to get your students started, then you could actually print this page with that scaffolding information that you've provided here, and then they would be responsible for completing the next two. All right, because this information would be on each of their sheets. So that is one way that you could use this as well. All right, another thing that we want to take a look at, in addition to your Books by Skills chart, and I'm just going to take us back a page. Okay, let's see if I can get us out of this. We'll just go ahead and go back to the home page. All right, when we were looking at those comprehension skill packs, of course, we know that you have them for second and third grade, and you have a variety of those different comprehension skill packs, depending on what skills your students might be having difficulty with over in, that's apparent in the reports in RAS Kids. All right, another area that's going to provide you with some additional support as well and resources is your close reading packs. And we will link into that. And if we were taking a look at our comprehension skills packs or our close reading packs, you're always going to have this more about link that will give you, when you click on it, reasons why you might want to use it, and then some suggestions on how to use it. All right, and you also, in this particular area for your close reading packs, you also have a tips video that is available to you on this page, but you will also be able to find any and all videos that appear within Reading A to Z in your video library as well. And of course, those videos are for you, the teacher. All right, well, in this area for close reading packs, you'll note that what we're, the goal of using close reading packs, and you can see right here in this introductory paragraph, is that it's promoting careful analysis of the text. All right, and it's also working on building those 21st century skills, okay, because we want them to be thinking, collaborating, and be able to communicate not only with one another, but with the class if necessary. All right, it's always going to revolve around a key question. All right, this is going to, they're going to be provided a wonderful text that they will be working with. All right, they're going to be participating not only in small groups, but also in whole class discussion. They'll be making all kinds of connections to the passage and then be applying the knowledge that they have acquired as they read through that to be able to discuss the passage with the information that they have gained. Now, in looking at our second grade here, we see that, as you will at any and all grade levels, you're going to have a selection of informational text packs as well, which are nonfiction, as well as your literary text packs, which are your fiction. All right, so you can choose any of these that you wish. All right, well, if we wanted to look at what do all baby animals need, all right, you would open up that link and it's going to take you to the page that will allow you to access all of the resources that are associated with this particular close reading pack. All right, you'll notice that once again, you have it in printable, which you are definitely going to need to print these for your students because they will be working with this response sheet. As they read through the text, they're going to have specific things that they will respond to. All right, but in the projectable format, you will be able to bring that up so that you have the opportunity. Okay, I don't know why it popped me past that. Let me go ahead and go back one more time and go to full screen. Okay, all right, then you'll have the opportunity to bring this up on the screen so that you can go over with your students what it is that they are going to need to complete. All right, so you will have the opportunity to guide them through this, and it may be that the very first time that you do a close reading pack, you might want to do it as an entire class so that everyone gets the modeling and the opportunity to work with that, so that then when they do one individually, they'll be more comfortable and able to work in that manner as well. All right, and you can use your text tool in here as well. You also have the opportunity to use your framing tool so that you can actually bring the reading portion and any other portion on the page up in a nice large size so that everyone can see it. Of course, they're going to have one at their seat as well. And then when you want to show another portion of the page, just pull that box down and enlarge that. And then you have that opportunity to be able to scaffold them into this information, okay? So that they will feel comfortable and be successful with it. All right, so in those close reading packs, this is a terrific opportunity for the students to really collaborate, for them to really take charge and have that responsibility. All right, you will have a set of teaching tips that are provided here for you. And then also these are common resources that are used for all of the packs. So since you are second and third grade teachers, you would be looking at the grades 2 through 4, the discussion leader and reporter role sheets. All right, and then using the close reading packs as well. You have these that link into that information. All right, the student passages, you will always have one at a low level, one at a high level, and 2 at the mid level. All right, and as I said, these are, before, you've always got them in printable as well as projectable format. And then the connecting passage that you will be using as the group comes completely back together as a whole class, and that is at medium level. And the beauty of that is that you can actually use that in projectable format so that if you want to print it, you can, but if not, you could actually use it on your projectable screen as that culminating read. Okay, and you could also, use that framing tool again to bring up the different segments of this particular read, and so that everyone be able to read it together. You can bring it up nice and large as well. Okay, and then move that box around on the page to wherever you need it. All right, so these are just some examples of ways that you can utilize these different resources that are going to support you in those comprehension skills, and that you're going to become aware of that your students might need additional help with by looking at your report data over in RAS Kids. But again, you can see that you have these beautiful resources for just your regular instruction if you need it too. All right, well, we've taken a look at, as we moved through today, we've taken a look at where you can find that data. You could find it actually on that dashboard page. It gives you just an overview. Then when you go to your class roster, you're going to be able to access those reports that you want to look at. All right, you also, and that's class-wide, as well as being able to go in and individually look at those students that you may be aware through the data that they are having difficulty. All right, and then in using that data, you'll be able to move over into your Reading A to Z so that you will be able to access those resources that are going to support you and your students in the goal of being successful. All right, I thank you very much for taking the time to view this webinar, and I wish you the very best in your use of these resources. Thank you.